Hello children, yesterday we had completed with the blood vessels, the arteries, veins and the capillaries, as well as we had seen what is the two type of blood circulations, pulmonary and systemic circulation. Yesterday I had got one doubt regarding the arteries, that why are the arteries usually deeper seated or deeply placed. These are deeply placed because in the arteries there is a very freshly oxygenated blood is flowing, and in case of any injury the blood person can bleed very profusely. Then secondly, why do veins have valves? Veins have valves because the blood flow of the veins is unidirectional, okay, and it's against the gravity. So that's the reason veins will be having valves to prevent the backflow of the blood. Now, then we saw what is pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Pulmonary circulation, which is just the upper part, and systemic is the lower part. So these two together give the name for the blood circulation as double circulation. Then we studied about hepatic portal system. I'm sorry, it was I pronounced it yesterday as hepatitic. It's hepatic portal system. So in hepatic portal system, we studied that how this hepatic portal vein is formed, and how does it reach to the the blood reach into the posterior vena cava by the help of this particular hepatic portal vein. So we can say that this portal vein is in which it starts with the capillaries, and also it's ending with the capillaries. Then we also studied what is the pulse rate, that how to measure the pulse rate, as well as the various different blood vessels entering and leaving the heart, as well as the blood vessels which are related to the liver and the kidneys. Now today we are going to see about blood pressure. Now when we are talking about blood pressure, you must have when you will visit with your parents or your grandparents to the doctor, you must have seen the doctors checking the blood pressure. They measure the blood pressure with the help of instrument called as the sphygmomanometer, and then he must be reporting that whether a person is having a high blood pressure or a low blood pressure. Now when we are talking about this blood pressure, it's nothing but the we can say the pressure, okay, the pressure in which the blood is flowing through the arteries, that is exerting on their walls. So that is nothing but the blood pressure. So there are two limits of the blood pressure. One is the upper limit and one is the lower limit of it. When we are talking about the upper limit, it is the systolic pressure, which is the contraction phase. So this systolic pressure is what with the time when the fresh blood is pushed through the artery. When fresh blood starts pushing through the artery, and what is the artery doing? This is because of the ventricular contraction. Ventricular contraction means from the ventricles it is entering to the artery, and where are the arteries taking the blood? To the different part of the body, right? So this is called as the systolic, which is the upper limit, and the lower limit is the diastolic, which is recorded when the wave has passed over. Then 100 to 140 mm, that is the systolic pressure, and 60 to 80 mm is the diastolic pressure. Now if there is a rise in the blood pressure, okay, if there is a rise which is above 140 to 90, it's known as hypertension or high blood pressure in popular language. Okay, so it has to be perfectly 140/90. If it is above that, then a person will be suffering from high blood pressure or hypertension. Now the last part of this lesson, which is the tissue fluid and the lymph. As we had discussed that the blood which is there, it has a cellular part and a non-cellular part which is having plasma and all that thing. So we are going to learn what is actually the lymphatic system and what is actually lymph. Now as the blood is flowing into the capillaries, okay, if, the blood is flowing in the capillaries, okay, this blood will be flowing in the capillaries of the tissues, right, of the tissues of the plasma or the leukocytes. These they leak out, okay, they will be leaking out through their walls, and this fluid parts the cell which is known as tissue fluid. Now as the blood is flowing in the capillaries, it is flowing in the capillaries of the tissues or the leukocytes, so the blood will be leaking out through the walls, and this fluid will be bathing the cell which is called as the tissue fluid. Okay, now we can say that this is the intercellular or the extracellular fluid which is there. Now it is from this fluid, in this fluid only the oxygen is absorbed, and the carbon dioxide is also given out, and other wastes are uh, going from this particular liquid, which is called as the tissue fluid or the intercellular fluid. Once again I will tell you, as the blood, okay, as the blood will be flowing in the capillaries of the tissues, okay, the plasma and the leukocytes which are there, okay, these plasma and the leukocytes which are there, they will be leaking out from their walls, okay, from the walls of the capillaries, and this when they leak out from the walls of the capillaries, this fluid bathes the cell, and this tissue fluid is called as extracellular fluid or the tissue fluid, whatever it is called as. Okay, so here the blood will be flowing in the capillary, as well as the blood is flowing in the capillary. Okay, leukocytes and WBCs will be leaking out. Okay, not the blood, I'm sorry, the leukocytes and the plasma will be leaking out, which is called as the tissue fluid. Okay, then we will be going to the lymph and the lymphatic system. So some of the tissue fluid may be reabsorbed into the blood cells. So whatever the fluid is being given out, it can be reabsorbed by the cells, and most of the fluid which is coming out from the capillaries, which is leaking out from the capillaries, it forms another set of we can say it forms another set of vessels, which is called as the lymph. Okay, so from the capillaries the blood is passing, right? WBCs or leukocytes or the plasma are leaked out, they form the tissue fluid. Okay, this tissue fluid will be forming another set of minute channels called the lymph vessels, which is called as the lymph. The main lymph vessels, which is shown in 8.16, are there. You can see in the figure, all these are the lymph vessels which are there. Now what is the lymph vessel doing? This lymph will be flowing in these vessels, which due to the contraction and relaxation of the muscles which are there. Now this is again beneficial for the effect of physical exercise. Lymph vessels, what do they do? Lymph vessels, on the way when they will be flowing, they will be draining out the lymph into lymph nodes, from where fresh lymph channels arise, and ultimately pour the lymph into major anterior veins close to the entry of the right auricle, again in the circulation. So you can see here, the lymph from the lymph vessels were formed. As these lymph vessels will be flowing, they will be draining the lymph into the lymph nodes. So you can see the lymph nodes over here, and these lymph nodes will be again forming a fresh channels, you can see, and then forming the fresh channels, they will be going into the major anterior veins, and when they go in from the anterior veins, they are taking part in the blood circulation. Okay, so this is how the cycle is completed. So we can say, first process, what happens as the blood is flowing from the capillaries, these WBCs, the leukocytes, as well as the plasma which is squeezing out. Okay, when they squeeze out, these are the extracellular or the intercellular fluid. This fluid together forms the lymph, and then they are going into the lymph vessels. These lymph vessels, while passing, they are they are draining the lymph into the lymph nodes. This lymph nodes, again we can say that they will be pouring the lymph into major anterior veins, and this anterior veins will be taking part in the circulation. So this is called as the lymphatic system. Now there is a composition of the lymph, that is cellular part, only the leukocytes are there, or mostly the lymphocytes, no RBCs or blood platelets. Non-cellular part, water and solid proteins, fats, carbohydrate, enzymes and antibodies. Then let us see what is the function of the lymph. First function is it's nutritive. It's supplying the nutrients like oxygen to other parts where the blood cannot reach. Okay, so this is the main function of it. Second function, it is drainage. That drainage is what? It is draining out the excessive fluid which is there and metabolites, and returning the proteins into the blood from the tissue spaces. So whatever extra fluid is there, excess fluid is there, it is draining it out, and then again it is returning the proteins to the blood. Then absorption, the fats from the intestine are absorbed through the lymphatics, that is lacteals located in the intestinal villi. You know what is villi? The projections which are there in the small intestine, the inner lining. So they'll be absorbing the fats. Then defense, lymphocytes and monocytes of the lymph function to defend the body. They act as a defense system. The lymphatics also remove the bacteria from the tissues. They are removing. So sometimes you must be observing a painful swelling in your groins. Groins, we can say that it's the area in the body where your upper thighs meet the lowest part of the abdomen. Okay, that means you can say your pelvic girdle and all this, where your private part is present, that's the groin area. So you must have seen that there can be swellings in the groin or in the axils of the arms. Okay, when you get a boil or injury in the limbs, this is a protective sign. So because you will be getting a pain over there, because it's a protective sign. So if you see, generally near your groin areas only the lymph nodes are present. So basically it is offering you a defense system. So lymphocytes and monocytes also help in the defend your body. Now the lymph nodes which are there, they tend, so you can see the lymph nodes here, they tend to localize the infection and prevent it from spreading to the whole body. So when you get a tonsils, you know where are the tonsils? Near your neck area, right? So near your neck area only there will be a swelling, because then there are the lymph glands which are present over there. Okay, so this is all the functions of the lymph. What is the function? First function, it is giving a nutritive, that is supplying the nutrition. draining out the excess fluid and then returning proteins back to the blood. Then absorption, absorbing the fats from the intestine, and defense, acting as a defense system where you can where the lymph nodes will be localizing the infection. So all this is called as the lymphatic system. Then the last part of this lesson, which is the spleen. So we will be going towards the spleen. So what is the spleen? Spleen is nothing but a large lymphatic organ which is about the size of a clenched fist. The clenched fist is a folded fist like this. So we can say that it's a reddish brown in color and situated in the abdomen, behind the stomach and above the left kidney. So if we can see the spleen somewhere, okay, here in a certain diagram it will be shown. Just to give me a moment. So here it's the spleen over here. So spleen, it's like a clenched fist and is situated at the lower part of the abdomen just above the left kidney. Now this is acting like a blood reservoir, and in emergency such as a hemorrhage or physical or emotional stress or in carbon monoxide poisoning, the spleen will release the stored blood into the bloodstream. Hemorrhages like blood clots or something, and when emotional stress and all, it will be releasing the blood. It produces lymphocytes, as I told you, lymphocytes over here, which are acting as the defense system. So you can see here the lymphocytes. Then it destroys the worn out red blood cells, sharing the function with the liver. And in an embryo, the spleen produces RBCs. Embryo means the a small fetus or a baby. That time it will be producing the RBCs. That is a function of the spleen. So with this we are done with this lesson. I want you all to complete the descriptive type of questions as well as the structured questions. All this, if you have any queries, please ask me. If and if there is any confusion in the video regarding the audio or the video, you can just tell me. Your doubts are most welcome. You should be asking doubts, then only I will understand that you are understanding the concept. Okay, so and in case of any errors, just tell me whether if there is any error, so that I can rectify it. Okay, thank you so much, children. Just take care of yourself.